Welcome, everyone, to Calm Coding, your weekly dive to the latest news and stories in the world of cybersecurity. Look, we're all facing this constant barrage of digital threats, right? And today, we're going to get into some really urgent stuff that impacts, well, pretty much all of us. Our mission, like always, is to sift through the noise, pull out the key information you need so you're informed and know maybe what steps you need to take. So today, we'll unpack some serious mobile alerts. We'll look at phishing tactics, trying to grab your accounts. We're also digging into these escalating ransomware campaigns and touching on a really interesting internet freedom story, too. It's quite a mix. Okay, so let's start with maybe the most immediate thing for a lot of you listening, that urgent patch from Google for Android phones. Seems like your Android device might have been, well, pretty vulnerable recently.
That's right. Yeah, Google just rolled out its August 2025 update. And it's critical because it fixes two major Qualcomm security flaws. And the really worrying part, they were being actively exploited out there.
Actively exploited. Wow. Okay, what were these flaws exactly?
So the first one is CVE 2025-21479. It's a high-severity memory corruption issue, rated 8.6 out of 10. It affects something called the GPU micronode. Think of it like a tiny control center in your phone's graphics chip. Basically, attackers could mess with it.
Okay.
The second is CVE 2025-27038, also memory corruption, severity 7.5. This one happens when rendering graphics in Chrome using certain Adreno GPU drivers.
And you mentioned exploitation. Who was doing it? Was it widespread?
Well, this is where Google's Threat Analysis Group, or TAG, comes in. They found evidence of limited targeted exploitation.
Targeted.
Yeah, TAG focuses on state-sponsored actors. So the thinking is these weren't random attacks on everyone. They were likely going after specific high-value targets. Diplomats, journalists, maybe dissident scientists, people like that.
Right. So while maybe not everyone was directly targeted by that specific campaign, the vulnerability was out there?
Yes, exactly. And once a flaw like this is known, other maybe less sophisticated attackers could try to use it more broadly. That's the risk.
So the message here for literally every Android user is update.
Update now. Google's August 2025 update has the fixes. Go check your settings, get that update installed.
And yeah, Android updates can be a bit messy, different timelines for different phones.
True. Pixel phones usually get them first, but everyone needs to check. Don't delay on this one, seriously.
Okay, critical advice. But unfortunately, that's not the only Android headache right now, is it?
No, sadly not.
Yeah.
We're also seeing a big spike in infections from a nasty piece of malware called the PlayPrater Remote Access Trojan, or RAT.
PlayPrater. How bad is it?
Well, reports say over 11,000 Android devices have been hit by a new variant. And it's spreading fast, like 2,000 new infections each week.
2,000 a week? That's a lot. How are people getting this thing on their phones?
It's pretty aggressive. They're using meta ads,
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram ads, and also SMS messages.
Ah, the classic dodgy text message link.
Exactly. These ads and texts push people towards thousands, literally thousands, of fake Google Play Store download pages.
Oh, wow. So it looks legit.
Completely. You think you're downloading a normal app, maybe a game or a utility?
I almost clicked one the other day. A fake package delivery text. It looked so real. Easy to see how people fall for it.
It really is.
Yeah.
And once PlayPlater's on your device, it's bad news.
What can it do?
Oh, the usual nasty RAT stuff. It logs your keystrokes, so it sees what you type, passwords, messages. It grabs credentials saved on your phone, monitors your clipboard for copied info, like maybe a password or crypto wallet address.
Yikes.
And it can impersonate over 200 banking and crypto apps with fake login screens. You think you're logging into your bank? You're not.
200. That's incredible. How does it install itself?
Through fake progressive web apps, PWAs, or these things called WebView-based apps. Some variants, like one called Phantom, are even worse. They abuse Android's accessibility services.
Those are meant to help people, right?
Exactly. Features for screen readers, things like that.
Yeah.
But this malware twists them to get persistent access and basically control everything on your device. You can see your screen, click buttons, perform fraud right there.
That's terrifying. Which regions are seeing this the most?
Right now, the hotspots seem to be Portugal, Spain, France, Morocco, Peru, and Hong Kong. But these things can spread.
So let's bring this back to the listener. What's the practical takeaway for just, using your phone day to day?
Extreme caution with downloads. Seriously. Stick only to official app stores like the Google Play Store. And even then, look closely. Choose apps from known brands. Check the number of downloads thousands, ideally millions, and read the recent reviews.
Right. Don't just click on an ad or a link in a text and download something.
Definitely not. Verify it, verify, verify it.
Okay, that covers the mobile front, which is pretty grim. But shifting gears slightly, attackers are also getting smarter about hitting corporate systems, particularly email. Tell us about this link wrapping abuse. It sounds counterintuitive using security tools against us.
It really is quite clever in a devious way. Hackers are targeting Microsoft 365 accounts by abusing these link wrapping or URL rewriting services. Services from companies like Proofpoint or Intermedia. They're designed to protect you.
Yeah, they scan the link before you get to it.
Right. They rewrite the link in your email so it goes through their security gateway first. earldefense.proofpoint.com, something like that. But the attackers figured out how to embed the original malicious URL within that rewritten, supposedly safe link.
Oh, I see. So the link looks like it's from Proofpoint, making you trust it.
Exactly. It creates this false sense of security.
Yeah.
You're more likely to click because it seems vetted, but nope, the dangerous payload is hidden inside.
So it's like hiding poison inside a vitamin pill.
A good analogy, yeah. And they're running active campaigns using this.
What do those look like?
They build fake Microsoft 365 login pages, really convincing ones. They shorten the link using Bitly or similar services. Then, and this is the really insidious part, they compromise an existing email account that already uses one of these protection services.
Ah, so they use a trusted, protected account to send out more malicious links?
Precisely. They wrap their malicious Bitly link using the compromised account's security service and then send it out. You might get an email saying you have a voicemail or someone shared a Teams document. You click the safe-looking link.
And bam, you're on their fake login page giving away your password.
Yep. It's very effective social engineering combined with technical trickery.
Okay, that's email. Let's talk ransomware. It feels like it never really went away, but you're saying there's a resurgence, particularly with Microsoft SharePoint.
Definitely resurgence, and yes, a critical flaw in on-premises Microsoft SharePoint Server is a major factor right now. It's nicknamed ToolShell. The official designation is CDE 2025-53770. It's a deserialization vulnerability.
Deserialization? Sounds technical. What does it let attackers do?
Basically, it lets an attacker send specially crafted data to the SharePoint server. When the server processes or deserializes this data, it can be tricked into running malicious code. And the scary part, it requires no authentication. The attacker doesn't need a username or password. They can just hit the server from the internet.
No password needed. That's bad.
Very bad. It's rated 9.8 out of 10 for severity. Gives them remote code execution full control. Microsoft patched it in late July 2025, but
patching takes time, and not everyone does it immediately.
Exactly. So lots of vulnerable servers are likely still out there, and ransomware gangs are jumping on it.
Which gangs? And what are they doing?
A group known as 4L4MD4R specifically has been seen exploiting ToolShell. They get in, deploy their ransomware, and interestingly, they're demanding relatively small ransoms, around 0.0005 Bitcoin, which is like $500.
Huh. Why so low? Usually it's millions.
The theory is they're playing a numbers game. Make it low enough that smaller orgs or even larger ones might just pay quickly to avoid the hassle rather than fight it. Volume over high value.
And who's getting hit by this?
The list is already quite long, unfortunately. Hundreds of victims, including some really high-profile names. The U.S. National Nuclear Security Administration, the Department of Education, Florida's Department of Revenue, the Rhode Island General Assembly.
Wow, government targets.
Yeah, and government networks in Europe and the Middle East, too. It shows how quickly these things get weaponized against significant targets.
Man. Okay, and sticking with Microsoft, there's another issue, something with hybrid exchange setups.
Yes, this one's important for organizations that run both on-premises Exchange servers and use Microsoft 365 Exchange Online together.
That's pretty common for larger companies, right?
Very common. The flaw is CVE 2025-53786. It's an improper authentication bug rated 8.0 severity. What it means is, if an attacker compromises an admin account on your local on-premises Exchange server, they can potentially use that foothold to escalate their privileges and gain access to your Cloud Exchange online environment, essentially jump from on-prem to the cloud.
Without needing separate cloud credentials.
That's the concern, due to how the trust relationship is set up in some hybrid configurations. And what's kind of fascinating and worrying is that the malicious activity originating from the on-prem server might not generate obvious warning logs in the Microsoft 365 cloud environment.
Making it harder to detect.
Much harder. This affects Exchange Server 2016-2019 and the subscription edition.
Okay, has this one been exploited yet?
Thankfully, there's no public evidence of active exploitation in the wild for this specific flaw yet, but the potential is definitely there.
So what's the guidance for companies with hybrid setups?
Microsoft is urging them strongly. Apply the April 2025 hotfixes for Exchange Server. Transition to using the dedicated Exchange hybrid app if you're not already. And critically, reset shared service principal credentials, which are part of that trust mechanism.
CSA is involved too.
Yes, CISA is advising orgs to review Microsoft's guidance on something called Service Principal Cleanup Mode and run the Exchange Health Checker tool. They explicitly warn this could lead to a hybrid cloud and on-premises total domain compromise. It's about as bad as it gets, full takeover.
Total domain compromise.
That's
Yeah.
right.
These specific attacks are scary, but they feed into a bigger picture, don't they? What's the global ransomware landscape looking like right now?
Well, the latest big report, the 2025 Ransomware report, paints a pretty stark picture. The U.S. is, unfortunately, leading the pack. It's being called the ransomware capital of the world, accounting for 50% of all global attacks in the last year.
50%? Half.
Half. And that represents a 146% increase year on year for the U.S. It's huge.
Wow. How does that compare to other places?
Way ahead. Canada was next at 5%, the U.K. at 4%. If you added up the next 15 most targeted countries, it's still fewer attacks than the U.S. saw alone.
That's staggering. Are certain industries getting hit harder?
Yes. Manufacturing was number one, with over 1,000 attacks recorded, then technology, then healthcare.
I also saw a note about oil and gas.
Yeah, that was a standout figure. A 900% year-on-year increase in attacks targeting the oil and gas sector. That's extremely concerning for critical infrastructure.
Absolutely. And are the attackers changing how they operate? It's not just about locking files anymore.
Right. That's a really key trend. Increasingly, the focus is shifting, or maybe broadening, from just encryption to data exfiltration, stealing your data.
So even if you have backups?
Exactly. Even if you can restore your systems, they still have your sensitive data, customer info, internal documents, intellectual property, and they threaten to leak it publicly if you don't pay.
Double extortion.
Or sometimes just extortion based on the stolen data, without even encrypting. The report found the top 10 groups stole 238 terabytes of data last year. That's up 92%.
Huge amounts of data. Who are the big players doing this?
Groups like Ransom Hub, they topped the list with 833 victims. Akira was next with 520, then Clop with 488. And the ecosystem is constantly growing. 34 new ransomware families popped up last year, bringing the total track to 425. It's a dynamic threat.
That leads kind of neatly into another specific threat that involves one of those groups, Akira, this potential zero-day in SonicWall VPNs.
Yeah, this is a developing situation. Arctic Wolf Labs reported seeing a noticeable increase in malicious logins through SonicWall SSL VPN appliances starting around mid-July 2025. And in many cases, these intrusions led to Akira ransomware being deployed.
So they suspect a zero-day, an unknown flaw.
It's a strong suspicion, yes, because it seems to be bypassing typical defenses. However, they also acknowledge it could just be the use of stolen login credentials. It's not definitively confirmed as a zero-day yet.
Okay. And Akira, we know them.
We do. They emerged in March 2023, target both Windows and Linux. They're known for specifically targeting and deleting backups to make recovery harder. They've hit big names: Stanford University, Nissan Australia, Taito Every, the FBI and CISA have both issued alerts about them previously.
So what's SonicWall telling its customers to do about this potential issue?
They've issued guidance with several recommendations. Things like disable the SSL VPN service entirely if you don't absolutely need it. If you do need it, restrict access only to trusted IP addresses.
Yeah.
Enable security features like botnet protection and geo-IP filtering.
Standard security hygiene too, presumably?
Oh, yes. Remove unused user accounts, enforce strong, unique passwords, the usual drill, and definitely enforce multi-factor authentication, MFA.
But there was a catch with MFA here.
There was. SonicWall specifically noted that MFA alone might not protect against this particular activity they're investigating.
Wow. So even MFA isn't a silver bullet here.
It seems not in this specific case, potentially.
Yeah.
It really highlights that need for defense in depth, multiple layers, not relying on just one thing.
Definitely. Okay, we've covered a lot of malware and vulnerabilities. Let's shift perspective a bit. Sometimes the challenge isn't just fighting attackers, but basic access to the internet itself, right? Like the situation in Iran.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating and quite troubling example of how internet controls impact daily life and how people adapt. Recent data from the Tehran E-commerce Association is striking. It shows that nearly 90% of Iranians are now using VPNs.
90%.
Yeah, 86% of the general public, and even higher among youth, 93%. They're using VPNs to get around widespread internet disruptions and filtering. You have to remember, Iran ranks really low, 97th out of 100 countries for internet quality and freedom.
And they have laws against VPNs now, don't they?
They do. A law came into force in February 2024 banning unauthorized VPNs. And even though some restrictions have supposedly eased, many popular websites and platforms remain blocked.
It's hard to imagine, and the economic impact must be huge. I read somewhere about Instagram jobs.
That's right, the report mentioned at least 1 million jobs tied to Instagram alone being affected by the censorship. When platforms are blocked, livelihoods disappear.
That's just devastating.
It really is.
Yeah.
But here's an interesting paradox.
Oh.
While VPNs provide that crucial lifeline to access blocked content, the sheer volume of VPN use is actually making Iran's already bad internet connectivity worse.
How does that work?
Because all that traffic is being rerouted, often through inefficient distant servers. It slows everything down, degrades the quality of the connection for everyone. So the solution to censorship inadvertently strains the underlying infrastructure. It raises this really important question about the unintended side effects of mass circumvention.
That is a paradox. And are the VPNs people are using safe?
That's another major concern. With the official ban, people might turn to less reputable, maybe free VPNs. And authorities are actively trying to block VPNs. Plus, there's evidence of spyware campaigns specifically targeting Iranian Android users through fake infected VPN apps.
So using a bad VPN could be as dangerous as the censorship itself.
Potentially, yeah. It underscores how vital it is, if you need a VPN for privacy or access, to choose a trustworthy one. There are some decent free options like Windscribe Free or Proton VPN Free, and reliable paid ones like NordVPN, Surfshark, ExpressVPN, or the paid Proton VPN tiers. Research is key.
Okay, incredible insights there. So just to wrap up our discussion today on calm coding, we've seen the absolute critical need to keep devices updated, especially with those Android flaws. We've looked at how phishing and ransomware are getting sneakier, abusing security tools and focusing on data theft. And we touched on the broader challenges of internet access and freedom, like in Iran, and the complex ways people navigate that. I think the main takeaway for you listening is that staying aware, staying informed, and being proactive, updating, being cautious, that's really your best defense. It genuinely makes a difference.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Think about this balance. We all need and want more connectivity, more digital access, right? But how do we balance that constant drive for accessibility with the very real, very critical need for strong security? Especially when, as we've seen today, almost everything digital can be a target. What trend or threat we discussed today stands out most to you as surprising, or maybe the most concerning, as you go about your digital life? Something to ponder.